been fairly one-sided today, but we're still going to talk about it because there's plenty to talk about. That effort from Rajasthan as well as the effort from Kolkata. Of course, Kolkata getting there very easily, winning by 37 runs. They had Rajasthan down on the mat, 5 wickets down at the halfway stage, which is 10 overs. And well, after that, it's actually credit to Rajasthan and specifically to Tom Curran that they even managed to get to 137. I'm Gaurav Kapur. You're watching My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. Have with me Joy Bhattacharjya and Shaun Pollock. Joy, happy? That was fairly one-sided.
No, very happy for KKR, and more than anything else, great to see. They'd be really happy that their young talent has made it. It's not Andre Russell. Morgan did well, but it's not Andre Russell and Sunil Narine who's won it for them. It's Mavi, Gill, Nagarkoti, Varun Chakravarti. And that's, I think, fantastic news for them, both for this tournament and for the future. They said, these guys have put so much faith in. These guys have done it for us.
And Bolly, look at these youngsters. Look at their analysis. Wow, they were good today, huh? Both Mavi and Nagarkoti.
Yeah, good outings for them, and they'll take a lot of confidence from that. There's obviously a lot of stories behind their performance and the faith that's been shown in them, and eventually, coming to the fore. I think also you do have to look at some of the dismissals and think, well, on another day, those could have gone either side, and maybe they weren't the best of deliveries. But as I say, as a team performance and them having stepped up to the plate, they will take some confidence from it. We did pick Cummins at the start. We knew it was going to be a big battle with him and Steve Smith. And Cummins did well to knock him over. I think the disappointment for me, from the Rajasthan perspective, would be Steve Smith. I think he came out, it was very out of character. He was almost just a bit gung-ho, just swinging at everything. He got away with one, popped it over Cummins' head. It probably should have been caught, and Russell didn't manage to get underneath it. And then to carry on in that fashion, I think he'll be sitting in his hotel room tonight thinking, I should have given myself more of a chance.
Yeah, I mean, he had 3 goals. He almost got 3 tries to dismiss himself against Pat Cummins there, right? It was third time lucky for Cummins, but seemed like he had a bus to catch or something. It was getting late for it. You're right, very uncharacteristic of Steve Smith. It's not a video game. You don't get 3 lives. The third one really got him.
I think also the change of surface was a big difference for them. Samson, for example, just stood there in charge and was able to hit anything banged in short by the fast bowlers. You just sort of waited for it to come to you and then whacked it wherever you wanted it. Well, it was different kettle of fish there today, and I think they came unstuck. Butter looked good, and he'll be quite disappointed at just picking out that man behind backward point. But it's the 3 of them. It's the 3 of them that have to get the runs. The rest of them aren't in any decent touch. So I think they could have afforded to give themselves a bit more time.
Different kettle of pitch is Dubai. It is from Sharjah. Let's look at the fall of wickets. Let's see how this march past happened for Rajasthan. And there you see, Joy. I mean, it just kept coming, right? They just had no partnerships at all.
Yeah, no partnerships at all. Then this first ball dismissals, most of them. I'm like Uttapa, like picking out a fielder. Samson also not a great stroke under the circumstances. He sort of hurried onto the ball. All these dismissals were dismissals that could have been avoided. It's not as if it was not a DK kind of dismissal, unplayable delivery. Okay, it happens. A great bowler gets a great ball. You've got yourself out. All these batsmen will be looking at the videotape tonight and saying, I needn't have got out. Yeah. It was my decision rather than the bowler's contribution that got me out. And those 3 first ball wickets were actually crucial. Yeah. They were the cream of the Rajasthan batting.
Paulie, today with the Rajasthan batsmen, you would have liked to see just a little more application, a little more cognizance of the situation, of the ground that they're playing on. Just stay a while. Just hang on a second.
Yeah, you also look at the bowling lineup that they're coming up against. There will be periods where there's going to be a little bit of inexperience. And, those are the kind of guys you try and put under pressure. Those are the ones you tend to target. But when they come on and you 2 or 3 are down already, there's not much you can do. So I think just the planning on that one, it wasn't a massive score to chase. They probably would have been a bit disappointed they didn't restrict them to less. But I think those first 6 and those 3 guys at the top definitely could have given themselves more of a chance.
Yeah, they could have. And it was not to be for Rajasthan. Joy, sorry, you were saying?
No, there are a couple of things that I want to point out here. One is that the aggression shown by KKR early, That third over from Cummins, that's so typically, again, as we spoke about it, that's so typically Brendan. When you're on top, force your advantage in. And while he didn't get a wicket, they got a wicket on the other side. The other thing I want to tell you is take a look at just before he got out, after Uttapa got in. He comes in, you can make out he's not in the best of form, he's not in the best of, frames of mind. And he dabs a ball and he takes a suicidal single. The guy who was running to the danger end was actually Joss Butler. And Butler, like, the international cricketers, Indian cricketers wouldn't have run on that ball. International cricketer, he's called, he just went for it. He would have been out by a yard and a half. And if you remember after that, Uttapa goes back to him and says, sorry. But the fact of the matter was that Uttapa endangered a batsman in form just because, at that point in time, and that tells you a little bit about the train wreck that the innings was, It never quite really got going. Steve Smith like that, Uttapa, just all over the place. It was just a train wreck of an innings.
Yeah, it really was today. I don't think, Rajasthan has a lot of questions after this game, don't they, Polly?
Yeah, they do. I think they've got to find the right personnel in the middle there. It doesn't look like a really solid unit. Yes, Jofra Archer did a good job and Tom Curran's going pretty well, but you can't be relying on those guys. And I think the Sharjah wicket where they came in and just smashed it sort of suited that middle order. I think as they go to the other grounds, the bigger, the sixes that they have to hit have to be massive in order to clear the boundaries. I'm not convinced. I don't walk away looking at that middle order thinking confidence. When Tom Curran came in, how well did he hit the first 6 or 7 deliveries, which showed you that surface was still good. And if you got yourself in, you could have done some damage. But I think there might be some tinkering in that middle order in particular.
Yes, the stickability is what we're talking about. Just stay there for a while and then back yourself. And that's what you were not seeing. Joy, you had a few suggestions when we were talking earlier of the changes you might end up seeing in Rajasthan.
No, absolutely. I think if Riyan Parag is going to bowl 1 over once in a while in this thing, they just can't afford to have the luxury of that 8th bowler. Yashasvi Jaiswal has done stuff for them. He's somebody they entrusted with the opening. They have to put him in. And I also don't see Robin, playing a very concerted part. Right at this point in time, the way his frame of mind is, I think they need to, even if it's not for the entire tournament, rest him a bit, let him get his mind in order, because right now he's not doing any favors to himself and the team. It's important that he settles down and he gets something for them. And as you said, they have just one more game left in Sharjah. The other games are going to be Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And the kind of game that they had in Sharjah is not going to repeat itself.
I think also they're missing the likes of Ajinkya Rahane, aren't they? I know he's sitting on the bench for the Delhi Capitals, so it's not an ideal situation for him. But he brought a bit of solidity to that order. They lost some early wickets. There was always him to rely on. You'd knock it around. He'd give the innings a bit of structure. And sometimes you look at him, but the strike rate's not great or whatever. But sometimes you also look back and think exactly what kind of role they played and how valuable they were at times.
Yeah, Paulie, absolutely. I want to take you up because exactly that what we call the class international batsman. He's not going to give himself out easily. Rahul Tewatia may be a hero for a day or a couple of days and, bully for him. He's a very brave player. But he's not a class international act that, okay, I can knock the ball around a bit. Even if a 150 bowler comes in, I'm not going to lose my shape. I can at least, place it around for singles. They don't have that sort of middle order stopper who can change gears.
Like Morgan has done in 2 games for Kolkata.
Exactly.
Yeah. So they need that kind. And they've traded Rahane when they sold him to Delhi. But you could tell that he was going to go because even the last season, Steve Smith, there was a transfer of captaincy and there was a transfer almost of trust and responsibility that was very evident even off the field. I guess it's just best for a player to then leave that kind of setup and not stay there. Well, let's have a look at the teams you guys made. We, of course, have the ultimate team of the day that we look at the end of the day. But before we do that, I want to show us the stamina meter because it's a big round. There's a fair bit of running around, our boost stamina meter. Let's have a look at who's there today. Jofra Archer, no surprise. He was firing arrows. Those arrows on fire, like you see in old mythological films, Polly, right? You set fire to the arrow and then you shoot it. That's what he was doing today, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at the pace, to have the stamina to keep running in and bowling as quickly as he did today, I think that was the impressive part for me. And I look forward to some more of it. 152 was the fastest fire of the day.
Yes. Are you going to send a certain Kagiso Rabada a screenshot of that?
I didn't see. We didn't actually check, did we? Whether he got into the top 5 or 6 deliveries. But yeah, he'll be watching and he'll see a little 152. And there'll be a game. There'll be a game where KG will feel like he's got the burners on. The back burners are going to be turned on and he's going to be running in.
Where KG is going to get the batsman KG, isn't he? He's going to be coming. There was a Joy, come on. That was right there. It was a low-hanging fruit. I had to go for it.
Yeah, you had to go for it.
I had to.
It's 11 o'clock at night. If you're going to make bad jokes, this is the time to make it.
It's a pretty good bad joke, isn't it? It's a pretty good bad joke.
For a bad joke, it's very good. But it's good.
Sorry. Yeah, it's so finally. You finally managed to twist your arm into... See, because I have nothing to troll you about today. Kolkata's done so well, right? Everything you said has pretty much come true. So we really can't troll you. Your shirt is also not entirely purple. So nothing there today. And what a brilliant game really for Kolkata today. We're saying it from the beginning. Remember, while a lot of people sometimes say that, oh, are you changing your thought now? Joy is here. He'll tell you in the preview that we did the day before the IPL started, I named them in one of my playoff 4. I did. He's here. I did. I'll remind you, I did the metros. I went for the metros. I went for Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, and Kolkata. And out of them, 3 seem to be doing all right. And the 4th, well, count him out at your own peril, my young friends. Let's have a look at the My 11 Circle Ultimate Team of the day. Did you have these people in your team? Did you have Tom Curran as the captain? Because he got a fair bit of runs towards the end, showing all his colleagues in the batting order above him how it is done. And then, of course, there was Shubman Gill, who was no surprise at all. And let's move to My 11 Circle Champion of the day. We got 2. It's Avinash Shete from Pune, 344.5 points. Avinash Bhau, congratulations to you. Well, okay. So Kolkata seems to be done. We'll have a look at the points table real quick and see where they have landed up. They have now got 2 wins back-to-back, one against Hyderabad, one against Rajasthan, and both solid wins, Joy. Solid wins.
No, absolutely. And as I said, it's one of those tournaments where I think they got everything wrong in the first match. I think they will look better and better as the tournament goes on. I'll be interested to see how Rajasthan goes from here on. I also believe SRH is not that as bad a team as it had shown in the first couple of games. This is one of the most even IPLs I've seen in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Because the only 2 teams who look really weak to me at this point in time are Rajasthan and Chennai. And as you said, count out Chennai at your own risk. And Rajasthan is actually 2-1 at this point in time. For whatever you call them, for all weaknesses that you say, they are 1 game ahead of the table.
Yeah, for sure. Rajasthan has a few good things going for them. It's not like all is lost there, for sure. That's not what we're saying at all.
No, not all is lost. But what is lost is no one can go unbeaten in this RPL because Rajasthan have now lost. They were 2 from 2. And now we can have no team unbeaten for the rest of the tournament. So it's all to be done. And I agree with Joy. I think it's going to be an evenly contested one. It's going to be one of those ones where it's going to be teams tied and net run rate, poof, you're going to go through.
Well, they're no different from 2019 then, right? It's going to be no different. We had got 3 tied in second position, 4 tied in third position, something like that, Joy. Was it 3 and 3 tied?
Yeah. I think 2019 and 2010 were 2 of the closest seasons I've seen. 2014 was also very close in that, crazy match, absolutely crazy match. So, yeah, those were the closest.
Reference to that crazy. Yeah, yes, reference. Yeah, Joy question.
It comes. Here it comes. We're bringing it. Here it is. Joy Factor, here is your question and the answer and the winner.
Okay, and if you are a Mumbai supporter, you love this question. If you're a Rajasthan Royals supporter, it's not one you want to remember. And so I'm sorry, guys.
Listen, I don't think there's any Rajasthan supporters left anymore. I think they've all gone to bed. I think they pretty much went to bed around the 15th over. They want to forget today. This was Aditya Tare, the one that he hit for 6. I remember this. They had to get, what was it, Joy? 189 in 15 or something?
Yeah, 189 in 15.4 it was, and they just did it with the last ball to spare. He had to hit a boundary and hit a 6. And you remember the famous reaction from
Rahul Dravid threw his cap down on the floor. I asked him later if he had apologized to the cap. He laughed and he didn't really answer it, but there was a sheepish laugh. So I think he did. I think that is an acceptance. The winner, who managed to get this right, Rishabh Surana. A lot got this right, actually. Rishabh managed to get it right the first. So well done, Rishabh. That was fantastic, young man.
It was supposed to be at Pommy tonight, wasn't it?
It was supposed to be high Pommy. High Pommy.
High Pommy.
Like it was high Harsha yesterday.
Okay, I've got a question for Joy. You've only got 5 seconds to answer this, Joy. 5 seconds, right?
Go for it.
Question. We love. How many of the emblems have got lions in it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5.
No, wrong. You got 4 lions and a tiger.
That's a
yeah, we got him. We nailed him.
Which one's the tiger?
Delhi Capitals.
Delhi Capitals has a tiger. You are right. They do have a tiger. I remember I was at the launch event where somebody was asked, but wait, it's the 3 lions. So why do you have a tiger there? And who are the lions?
Well, you got Chennai, Bangalore. Rajasthan's got the 2 lions the guy holds up. And
Punjab.
Punjab, that's it.
Mm.
Kings 11. There you go, Joy. Gotcha at your own game.
Well done. That was a good one. And of course, before we wrap up for Kolkata, a big shout out to Nagarkoti and that catch. I thought that catch was spectacular. It was really the play of the second innings. Fantastic catch by the young man. And also, Kolkata that's good captaincy, using the opportunity, holding Kuldeep back and letting him have a confidence spell. Bringing him on when the game was pretty much tied up. And Joy, I really liked that. It was a confidence spell that he gave him. Listen, there's nothing to lose here. They cannot win the game. Just go out. Don't worry. Don't stress. I think it's a good sort of boost to his morale right there.
Absolutely. Because I think Kuldeep, though he didn't need to do much in this match, he's going to be useful to them. He's important to them. And if he gets going, because see, if these pitches get slower and slower, then you're going to play Sunil Narayan. Right now, in current form, you're definitely going to play Varun Chakravarti. And then if Kuldeep comes in and they have 12 overs of good spin, and then about another 12 overs of fast bowling, they're set. So this is looking good for them. Kuldeep is essential for the back end of this tournament.
Yeah, I do think they don't play him at Sharjah. He's one of those spinners who gives it air, and if you give it air there, I think the other 2 are very flat. They hit the top of the stumps, and they'll be more effective at Sharjah. So I wouldn't play Kuldeep. I think his confidence could be ruined properly if he plays those venues. Give him the bigger grounds to work with.
Yeah, in fact, I agree with Paulie, and I'd go as far as saying don't play any bowlers in Sharjah.
Yeah, not above the truth.
Yeah, let's have a look at the game that is coming up tomorrow, 1st of October. This is also the month where the playoffs will start as of this weekend. The doubleheaders will start as of this weekend, but it's Punjab v Mumbai tomorrow in Abu Dhabi, which is the home ground for Mumbai. And let's have a look at the Mumbai team from the last game and see whether they would make any changes tomorrow. Paulie?
Yeah, I doubt they'll make any changes. I mean, the one change they did make, Ishan Kishani, was brilliant. So I don't think you'd leave him out unless the surface looks completely different to what we've seen. But I think it's a big game for both teams, isn't it? Because they both had some real close encounters that they were on the wrong side of. And you don't want too many of those. You know, the strategy I used to be when I was around at Mumbai is you don't want, if you have one bad over, make sure you get a really good bowler on in order to sort of just calm things down, because you don't want 2 bad overs. If you get 2 bad overs, it's almost like the momentum runs away with you. And it's the same with matches. You know, if you have a close encounter that you lose, you need to get back to winning ways as soon as possible. Otherwise, you can get into a bit of a habit and the momentum can be against you. So both teams will be feeling they need to get it right.
Yeah.
Joy, Mumbai is not going to. I mean, Mumbai barely anyway tampers with their 11. They got Ishan Kishan in, and you'd sort of say that worked out. So this looks like a solid 11, and this looks like an 11 that perhaps will not see any changes.
No, absolutely. In fact, I was looking at this encounter and looking at it. It's like my sleepless in Seattle kind of encounter. Both teams are heartbroken after situations that were completely out of their control. Super overs, matches they should have won, and they're all like heartbroken and say, can they find, one of them is going to find true love in the next match. But the fact of it is, both of them will be telling themselves, we were really hard done by. We should have won those matches. And that's the one reason that I see that they won't be changing teams, because they'll be telling the guys, you did it all. It was just one of those days. And it's just so surprising because both those guys are, I sense, both look like playoff contenders right now, though they have lost few matches. It's just incredible. And Punjab, for example, just look at the quality of the performances they've given. It's just that they've just not managed to get it across the line. So, it'll be a fascinating match. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's match.
The only thing from Mumbai is they would like to see a performance from Quinton de Kock at the top of the order. He's a big player, and if he gets going and finds form, he can win you games on his own. So I think just to settle things down, it would be nice for him to get going.
Yeah, they'd want to get runs from both their openers, actually. But Punjab doesn't seem to have that problem because they're getting runs from both Rahul and Mayank. In fact, Mayank may be thinking, maybe I don't get runs and then my team wins, because me getting runs is going the other way. You got to feel for the kid, man. He is just in some rip-roaring form, Polly. And then to have two of those innings end up on a losing cause, heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's not ideal. In my one-day international career, I got 5 wickets, I think 5 or 6 times, and we lost 5 of those games. So maybe sometimes it's just better that you perform well, but don't have your big games. But I think from their perspective, I think they're going to have a management meeting just about the plans at the back end. It's twice now that they've cost themselves with the plans that they've looked to implement. KL Rahul's relatively young in the captaincy, and I think they need to have a clearer idea about what they're trying to do. The approach to Stoinis in the one match wasn't ideal, and then Tavatia's when he was basically done and dusted, to give him that opportunity to be able to smash it. I think they'll be licking their wounds, that bowling unit at the back end. So I think they need to come up with something crystal clear so that the guys can go away and have a bit of confidence heading into the back end of the innings.
And Mumbai prep of Shane Bond released a quote. Let's have a look at that and see what Shane Bond said in terms of prep. He said a lot, didn't he? We've got a quality bowling unit, so we just have to put pressure on Rahul and Mayank, who have been the 2 key batters for Punjab. Have played brilliantly so far, so we can create some pressure and get those boys early. A little bit more pressure on the middle order, and hopefully we can restrict them. So essentially what Shane Bond is saying is that we've got to get these 2 kingpins, these 2 linchpins at the top, because, well, honestly, the rest haven't really got that much time in the middle.
No, but the truth of it is that in the last match, both Maxi and Nicholas Pooran got going. And that's in one sense that was great for them, because both of them had little cameos towards the end. 25, I think Pooran got about 25 in about 12, 13 balls. I think Bond got about 15 odd. They've started batting, and it's an explosive unit out there. So my point is that both teams are, they both have the kind of explosive capacity. These 2 teams could potentially finish 1 and 2 still. I still believe these 2 teams have the talent to finish 1 and 2. The interesting thing is, exactly what Polly said, that Punjab is one of the most settled management teams that I've seen in a while from Punjab, because they're all over the place very often. They have Kumble out there, and Kumble knows the Karnataka boys upside down. Also, he's somebody who commands a lot of respect. He can speak to Ravi Vishnoy. They have Andy Flower there from, terrific guy, part of the England system for a very, very long time. They have Jonty Rhodes as fielding coach. They have a lot of good pieces who are guys people respect. So come together and respect them. You're right, Polly. They probably need to do their jobs and calm this very young team down and make them start delivering.
Yeah, I mean, their honesty call is that they should be 3 from 3. Both those games that they lost, if you had to have called it from 2 overs out, you would have said done and dusted, points in the bag. So sometimes it can be difficult. And as you say, the experience of the management team should be healthy.
I think if any Punjab fan had thought, hey, it's late now, it's 18 overs in, I think I can sleep, my team has won. Tomorrow, stay awake till the last ball is bowled, because your team needs your support. Well, I mean, it's two instances. You're so right, Paul. It's two instances of sort of bad luck or just a small spell of play going against them. And, it's got to fall towards them as well. That's just cricket karma, isn't it? It has to fall towards them. No, I am not making any South Africa dig here right now. No, I'm not. I really am not. I am just going to wrap it up like a really, really good boy.
Wrap it up. I think just wrap it up.
Like a good boy, I'm going to wrap it up. Sorry, Joy, you were saying something? You were trying to troll Polly, weren't you?
No. I was not trying to troll Polly. I just want to finish with one comment on it's Rishikesh Mukherjee's birthday, and we have to remember the two teams that lost with two Rishikesh Mukherjee quotes. One is obviously Rajasthan Royals has to be golmaal hai, sab golmaal hai. I mean, nothing went right for them. Golmaal hai, sab golmaal hai. And KKR has this sort of complete revenge in their eyes. मैं आज तुझे माफ नहीं साफ कर दूंगा.
मैं तुझे माफ नहीं तुम्हें साफ कर दूंगा. So that's all. We're done. Happy birthday to the legend Rishikesh Mukherjee. If you haven't seen Golmaal, that's sometime in the 1978 film.
Or read this book, or read this guy. This is the guy. You've got
there you go. Please, Utpal Dutt, just please go and see that film. Trust me, it is way before your time. It's way before my time, way before Polly's time. Right around when Joy was in his early youth. But just please go and see it. You will love it. You will love it. And you will want to send me Nariyal Ki Laddu. Me, Gaurav Kapur, saying good night on My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. A big thank you to Joy Bhattacharjya and Shaun Pollock. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. Big thanks to all of you for joining us. Good night.